What functions do myths serve? Why do we have myths? And what kinds of myth are there? We'll look at what Campbell says about functions, positing another one that is implied but not stated by him. Then we'll close with Leeming's kinds of myth. Let's first, though, remember our list of definitions. Let's remind ourselves what myth is not, and then briefly review the variety of definitions from Joseph Campbell. Of course, it's not a lie that many people falsely believe, an old wives' tale, but rather tends to be a story that deals with gods and heroes, giving us greater understanding about what life means. It can be a metaphor or a mask for God, and clues or guideposts to the spiritual, giving us a touch of an experience of being alive. Myths are also life's wisdom, society's dream, or a legend that has become greater in meaning and significance. Civilizations, religions, and rituals are based on myths. With these definitions in mind, we get a sense of what the purpose myths serve. Joseph Campbell, in The Power of Myth, gives us 4 functions of myth and implies a 5th. The mystical function accounts for our awe and wonder at existence itself, allowing us to understand our minuscule relationship to the vast creation and the mystery as to how we are part of it and subject to the forces therein. From this awe comes the ideological function, which Campbell calls the cosmological function. This is how myths help us understand creation, both symbolically and scientifically, helping us understand the universe itself, where it comes from, and how it came to be. Campbell's 3rd function is called the sociological function, or the social function, serving to validate the social order, justifying it, and supporting the power structures and organizational reasoning of societies over time. The last function that Campbell names is the pedagogical function. This is probably the most obvious purpose that myths serve. We use them to teach our children, helping them through the different stages of life as the child grows from baby to adult. The themes we find in myths help us work through all the mysteries and grand questions of humanity together. They are our story to explain how we came to be, what each person's role in society is, and how to navigate our way even up to the threshold of death, the ultimate mystery. If we didn't have these stories, we'd have to start from scratch with every life. We'd truly be alone in our journey. Myths help us know we're not alone with our mysteries. Campbell implies a psychological function when he talks about mythic stories putting the person in accord with one's own body, especially as one ages. The sociological function is for being in accord with our group, and the other functions put us in opposition or in accord with wisdom in the cosmos, properly positioning us in the mystery, the myth, the mystical, and reality itself, the cosmological. So this final function may be how we understand ourselves through these stories. And from Leeming, we get 4 types of myth: cosmic, theistic, hero, and place or object myths. These are pretty self-explanatory and parallel Campbell's functions and many of the definitions that we've just reviewed. The cosmic corresponds with the mystical and cosmological functions. Theistic myths are both cosmological and sociological by establishing the social order. Hero myths are sociological and pedagogical, giving us many of our embedded values and our acceptable behaviors in serving the group. Place or object myths establish our land and homes as special, mysterious, and they're ours because we know these places and are often our gods lived, walked, and worked in these places that we have all around us. They are sacred because of the myths and stories we share. The evocation of a particular hero or place raises an emotional response and particular behaviors. Remember the Alamo. Common phrases taken from a story known by all, both include and exclude from the group. We've alluded to one function of myth that bears greater exposition, namely that myths serve to construct groups and social identities. They help us to know we belong, because we know the story. It's not enough to say the name of a hero, but one must also know the story and the emotion that the naming of the hero in that context of the here and now has. And then what is now expected of me? When the leader exhorts me to remember the Alamo, for example,